You know, I think we legitimately have an officer safety issue here, folks. I think one of these days, I do not want this to happen. Oh, I really don't want this to happen. But one of these days, these officers that do this type of thing, that just show up and go crazy right off the bat, they're going to get blown away, you guys. I mean, blown away. Just kablooey, splattered all over the wall. It's possible that it's going to happen. It'll just be this. It'll be some innocent wife that goes, "Hey, I called for help, and these animals showed up, started beating the crap out of my husband, and what was I going to do? I had to blow them away." That's what's going to happen one of these days. I hope not, but I think it probably will.
Realized what was happening, they tried to cover it up.
Are you doing CPR?
Police body camera footage captured the moments that Central Marin Police responded to a 911 call in San Anselmo. That call placed by Elise Frankel, who woke up late one night in August 2022. She says her then fiancé, now husband, Bruce Frankel, was gasping for air, and she says he was clearly having a medical crisis. Elise says she was expecting EMTs to respond when she called 911, but Central Marin police officers arrived first, and she says instead of treating Bruce like a victim, treated him like a criminal.
He jumped on him.
Did you know Turbo?
And tackled him on the ground. And it was very scary just watching the whole, seeing the whole situation.
Bruce Frankel says he doesn't remember the encounter and can't bring himself to watch the video.
No, I can't do that.
Too traumatic.
I can't keep reliving this over and over and over again. So, no, I have not watched the videos.
Doctors later determined that Bruce Frankel was suffering a Grand Mal Seizure, unaware of his surroundings and unable to comprehend what was going on. In the video, Bruce can be seen mumbling and pushing the officer as the officer tried to grab him. He said he was treated like a criminal instead of a patient in need of medical care.
If the police arrived and had just asked Elise, 2 questions, what's going on and has this happened before, none of this, we wouldn't be here today. But they didn't, that officer did not do that at all.
Documents reviewed by KTVU say that police officer Kevin Sinnott said that Frankel actively resisted him for more than 2 minutes. The officer ultimately pulled his taser and shocked Frankel twice. An internal review found the officer's use of...
You realize these cops are absolute animals. They're trained by an animal. They're protected by animals. And they're supported by people that are animals out in public. That's right.
Force was justified. The responding officer's attorney releasing a statement reading in part, quote, "While we now know this was the consequence of a seizure, at the time the officers had no such information."
And the officers were also completely stupid. They're the type of cops that we have come to expect in every town, everywhere. You see a uniform and you're looking at one of the dumbest idiots in society. Sorry, but it's true.
And acted in accordance with training, law, and policy. All the officers wanted to do was help make sure everyone was safe.
Right. Listen, Allison Barry Wilkinson, attorney, I think you're full of crap. And I think your client is a criminal.
I've always respected the police until now.
The Frankels say eventually EMTs arrived on scene and Bruce Frankel was taken to the hospital where he was treated and arrested for resisting arrest and faced domestic abuse allegations.
Monsters. They knew what was going on. They had all the information, yet still, what do? Arrest him. Probably was a felony, resisting.
Frankels say that's when they began digging into the events of that night, eventually spending more than $10,000 to clear Bruce Frankel's name. The Marin County District Attorney ultimately did not file charges, but now the Frankels have filed their own lawsuit alleging abuse at the hands of Central Marin Police Department. Their attorney saying the responding officers rushed to judgment, using force when medical care was called for, and then started collaborating on their...
It was more than a rush to judgment. It was just business as usual. They're animals. They cannot be respected. They're dangerous, dangerous people in society.
stories to build a cover-up.
We're trying to hold people accountable for some really bad decision making.
Then what we need to know is exactly who these cops were, and let's look into their past. You'll find that these cops are animals.
That taints an entire department, which is not good.
The chief for Central Marin Police Department released a statement about the incident and lawsuit, reading in part, quote, "The authority will vigorously defend itself against this meritless and factually inaccurate litigation which has not even been served upon the authority as of yet."
Shut up, Chief. Chief Norton, shut up. From America. America wants you to just shut up.
Unfortunately, this individual has decided to first litigate his case in the media rather than in court.
Guess what? And we're glad to help with that right here on the Bad Apple Report, because you know what? Those knuckleheads were bad apples, but they're not near as bad as you, Chief Michael A. Norton. You're the worst bad apple. You jerk. Well, the stupid is strong with this one.
Well, this guy, arrested again, suspended Opa-locka police officer Johan Taylor, has been booked again on the same charges he faced last month. Taylor charged with 2 counts of domestic violence and robbery by sudden snatching. According to the Broward Sheriff's Office, Taylor was arrested in Fort Lauderdale, and then sources tell us that he was transferred to TGK. Taylor is the brother to current Mayor John Taylor.
This is what a criminal cop looks like. Yes, they come in all shapes and sizes and colors and this and that and the other. This one looks like he's a nerd. He's not one of those paramilitary cops, but they're all bad. This one's super, super bad. All right. Indianapolis, an IMPD officer is accused of raping a domestic violence victim he had responded to help. Wow. That officer, Myron Howard, has been terminated by the department. Oh, really? He is formally charged with rape, criminal confinement, official misconduct, and other misdemeanors. Okay, you mean other felonies? At a hearing April 4th, a judge placed Howard on $100,000 bond. If he posts bond, Howard will be on GPS monitoring and cannot have firearms. His next hearing is set at the end of May. According to police, Howard was called with other officers to a home on Olney Street near East 25th Avenue, North Sherman Drive on January 6th for a domestic violence call. A man was taken into custody during that incident. Howard then allegedly returned to the scene after the other officers left. According to court documents, Howard allegedly told the female victim, you could have went to jail too. But I didn't say anything, so I need you to do something for me. Look at this guy. This woman they called for help. Well, you know the story. Bad cop. Howard turned his body-worn camera off during the incident. Oh, he's a smart bad cop, according to the court documents. Police said they verified this because the device was missing nearly 20 minutes of GPS data during the alleged incident. His patrol car GPS showed he had returned to the woman's home after the domestic violence call and was there for approximately 17 minutes. Wow. Okay, he's not that smart, apparently. Knucklehead. I felt obliged to do what he tells me, the alleged victim told police. Coercion. She said her boyfriend was arrested again in February for domestic violence and that Howard came to her home after other officers left. That time, she said she told him to leave her alone and didn't open the door to her home. Oh my goodness. When questioned, Howard claims he was doing patrols in the area after the domestic violence call, and the woman waved him down, and the sex was consensual. Typical lying cop. He claimed he didn't talk to her after that. The woman submitted screenshots from her home and text messages Howard allegedly sent her, and a call he made. Ooh. He's so dumb, he didn't think that maybe she would document it. Well, she did. In a separate incident in August 2023, another woman said Howard was helping her after a car crash. She said he then came back and offered her a ride home. She said he told her that she needed to buy him gas or have sex with him. You guys, this guy. She said she offered gas money, but he told her it needed to be sex. She said the two had sex and then he drove her home. This cop is a sicko, you guys. A mega sicko. The allegations made in the probable cause affidavit are deeply disappointing and disturbing, IMPD Chief Chris Bailey said. His alleged actions not only violated his sacred oath to our community, but he abused his power and took advantage of a victim when she was most vulnerable. His actions do not represent the brave women and men who serve Indianapolis with integrity every single day. My prayers are with the victim during this difficult time. Well, it's a pretty difficult situation for Chief Chris Bailey to find himself in. Another dirty cop. No, this is not the only one. This one got caught, though. Okay, the victim's attorney speaks out. Attorney Mark Nicholson said he received calls from a woman claiming she was sexually assaulted by IMPD officer in January. He then contacted IMPD, which later launched an investigation. It's one of those things that I would consider to be a travesty, a misuse and abuse of power, Nicholson said. We trust the police to uphold the law, and when someone is in law enforcement and they violate that trust, it is especially heinous. Absolutely it is. He believes there are other victims, and I do too. We all do. You can tell by looking at that guy. He's an expert at what he did. He's only 27 years old. What a loser. He believes there are other victims out there and encourages them to speak up and prevent this from happening to anyone else. If people don't come forward, then this reign of terror, this abuse can continue to happen, Nicholson said. I hope it's over for this particular one, but they're out there, and they're cops. He called his client brave for coming forward. Advocates fear there may be other victims. Yes, and other victims of other cops. I was horrified, said Kelly McBride, who runs the domestic violence network in central Indiana. We'll keep them away from cops, because there's a very good chance there's many, many more just like this guy. They come in all different shapes and sizes, and the only common denominator is that they're police officers and they have power over you and me. That's how she felt after reading the allegations that an IMPD officer sexually assaulted a woman minutes after she was assaulted by her boyfriend. Just minutes after that. Okay, this woman had experienced domestic violence, so trauma in her home, then called law enforcement who was supposed to be there to help her. They took advantage of that power and control in a very delicate situation and sexually assaulted that woman, McBride said. She said domestic violence and sexual assault are the two most underreported crimes. Listen, violent perpetrators and criminals, they sense weakness. Victims, they just smell them and they go for them. That's why cops are the way they are. Everybody's a victim to them. She said there are likely more survivors who haven't spoken up. There are 100% more victims that haven't come forward. There's a 100% chance that there's more people on the IMPD that are just like this guy. 100% chance. The ones who have done it are so brave, and the ones who haven't done it yet, you can. That's right. You can come forward, folks. Resources are available to assist you through this traumatic time in your life. Listen, I get it. I was called the other day by a celebrated nurse. Okay, we've not connected back and forth, but she was violated by sheriff's deputies on the side of the road. For 45 minutes. I haven't heard the whole story. She's going to tell me the whole story, and she's going to let me record the whole story, and I'll bring it to you guys. But it's not like this. But again, they sensed a victim, so what did they do? They victimized her. They intimidated her for 45 minutes. No crime, no charge, sent her on her way after scaring the crap out of her. Cops I think they're terrorists. They do really bad things, just like this guy did.
Has obtained disturbing details of an alleged sexual assault at the hands of a former Big Rapids police officer. Ryan Dornbos was charged with 2 counts of first-degree criminal sexual conduct with someone under 13. He's been a police officer for Newaygo Police as well, and even worked as a football coach at Fremont Middle School. Sources also say he was a coach at Newaygo Public Schools. Dornbos no longer working at any of those places after the allegations against him. In this 35-page document, Fremont police outlined the investigation into this man, Ryan Dornbos. The documents, though heavily redacted, paint a picture of what exactly investigators have found. Fox 17 has learned Dornbos's alleged victim first disclosed the sexual abuse at a sleepover on New Year's Eve. An investigation immediately followed. When confronted about the abuse on New Year's Day, Dornbos denied the allegations, saying, quote, "This is insane. I work CSC cases. I am not a CSCer." But notably, Dornbos was mostly concerned with getting to work that day. His job, a Big Rapids police officer, saying to officers, quote, his shift is already down one man and he didn't want them to have to call someone in on New Year's Day. Dornbos also repeatedly told investigators his career as an officer was over. And it was, at least with Big Rapids police, who immediately placed him on administrative leave after being notified of the investigation, later firing him. Dornbos, however, given special privileges because of his position as a police officer by the investigating agency, the Fremont Police Department. Instead of an interrogation room, Dornbos did an interview in the chief's office. The investigation documents revealing numerous past accusations against Dornbos of harming women, also alleging there is more than one victim.
Oh, dang. I missed it turning over to 36,000 because my computer is moving so slow with all these bad apple reports just filling up my system. This is what it looks like. But I got to thank you guys for liking, sharing, and subscribing. You totally grew this channel from nothing. Thank you so, so much. Thank you for watching every morning at 7:30 a.m. right here at home on the range. I'm going to keep it going. But for now, I have to do what's called sharpening the saw, which means clearing out all my computers are just bogged down, as you can see. You guys are great. Have a great day. Thank you so much. We made it to 36,000. That's crazy. Whoa. Look at that little line in the background. See that thing over there? Whoa. It's crazy. Okay. Thanks, you guys. See you tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m.